Well, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I think since being on YouTube, one of the things that I have wanted to do is create my own beauty tag. I've done a couple tag videos in the past of things that are just kind of like thought-provoking questions. They're kind of like, you know, little tell-all, get-to-know-me-better type things. I never really knew. I was like, well, how do you create a tag? How does a tag become a thing? How do you go viral? You know, how do you decide? There's just all these sort of correlating questions and thoughts that I was like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. But that was then, and this is now, and I feel like I have enough of an understanding of what makes a tag that I wanted to do my own. This is honestly not even necessarily for like, oh, I created this and I want other people to do it too. That's great if they do, but honestly, this tag was created more for myself than anything else. And that is the beauty consumer tag. We have got a series of questions, and these are going to be a bit more personal, a bit more probing, that are honestly made to really make you take a moment and think about and really analyze and step back and really think about your level of consumerism when it comes to makeup. I will say right now, I am the worst/best type of consumer. Worse because I like buying stuff. I like stuff. And best because in the industry, you know, in the market, I'm the kind of consumer they want because I like stuff and I buy stuff. I'm constantly adding to my clothes, to my makeup collection, to my knickknacks, to my shoes, to basically every aspect of my life. And so it is important for me to really think about these things and be like, how much of my life is being run and being, you know, consumed by consumerism. So we're going to get into the questions. I will leave them down below. If anyone decides to do this tag, please let me know. I would love to see other people do it, but if not, that's okay. Like I said, this is for me. Question number 1. How much money do you spend on makeup in a month? In a year? This is something that's a little difficult to pinpoint because, you know, it really does depend on, you know, what's coming out, what am I running low on, is there things that I want to review? When it comes to how much money I spend on makeup a month, as I said, it does depend, but if I'm being completely honest, it's anywhere from 0. Actually, that's a lie. I probably buy at least one makeup product a month. So we'll say 10 to probably 200. Then a year, I have not calculated how much I've spent this year, but last year, I believe I spent around $4,000, and then the year previously, I'm pretty sure I spent around $2,300, which is a lot of money when you're taking into account, you know, I've been wanting to go and take a trip to Japan. I'm like, okay, well, that's, you know, that right there would have been a large chunk of that. Number 2. Do you ever feel guilty about how much you spend? When it comes to my makeup, I do sometimes I look at, you know, the amount of makeup that I have and the amount of money that I spend on makeup, that sometimes it's not really a feeling of guilt about how much I've spent. It's more a feeling of guilt of how much I've spent coupled with how much I don't use something. Like if I'm looking at like a $48 face palette that's not getting a lot of use, there is a large amount of, you know, guilt creeping up that's like, you know, that's $48 that could have been, you know, a bill payment, could have been food for the cats, could have been food for me, could have been money that was put towards saving for something else. And so while I don't feel or experience overwhelming guilt when it comes to purchasing, there are moments where you're like, am I really? I mean, I'm just kind of throwing money out there into the oblivion, and we'll see whether I use something a lot. Number 3. Do you experience FOMO, or fear of missing out, when it relates to new makeup releases? This is something that I used to have so bad. Oh my goodness. Like, Soraya from 2, 3, 4 years ago, if it was a new makeup release, didn't matter the brand, didn't matter high-end drugstore, whatever, if it was new and being released, I wanted it. And 9 times out of 10, I would go out of my way to get it. Whether there was a time, where I bought anything and everything, even if it bronzers, a new bronzer would release, and I'd be like, oh boy, do I bronze? Do I bronze? No, I don't, but I would go out and get it, products that I would just, never use, and I would just get it because there's this what if this product is the next big thing? What if this product is the next Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca remix palette where everyone is going to want it and need it and have it, and I'm not going to have it? And in the beauty community, there almost is a sort of, I don't want to say elitism. I don't think it's as bad now as it was a couple years ago, but that whole sense of if you are a beauty channeler, YouTuber, and you didn't have a certain set of products or the new things and everything like that, your worth wasn't as good as those who did have it. Do you purchase or keep items simply because they are limited edition? This was something else that I used to do. Any of y'all who have been with me for an extended period of time know that I used to be the limited edition person. If it was limited edition, I wanted it, I held on to it, and whereas now, I'm a lot more critical, I think a lot more about something before I go into a limited edition purchase. And for a large amount of time, there were things that I wouldn't get rid of because they were limited edition, either for the reason of, oh, well, I don't want to run out of it, or because, I don't want to be the one whose collection doesn't have it. Would you be willing to pay more money online, like on a site such as Poshmark or Mercari or eBay, for a sold out product? A good example of this, the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca, $50, $60 palette selling for $250. The MAC Whisper of Guilt or something highlighter, probably $30, $40 sold for $200. And there have been some products, this will be I don't even know if this video is still on my channel. But back when I first started, I had to have those little, I think, 5-pan purple lime crime palettes. There was the Aquatine, the Alchemy, the China Doll, and the D'Antoinette. I just had to have them. They weren't being sold on Dolls Kill anymore. They weren't being sold on the lime crime side anymore. They were discontinued. And I think to get a hold of all 4, I probably spent somewhere close to $300, as well as a lot of stressing out, as well as spending that money, causing a little bit of bumpiness in my relationship at the time. But there was just something about those that I had to have. I'm not even sure what it was, but for some reason, I just needed to have those. And so, there kind of is that, cult products, things that are sold out. I remember when you couldn't buy the Morphe 35O, that was a $29 palette. People had it for $75. The Jeffree Star stuff, his stuff sells out and people are selling it, and you have to ask yourself, there is that, is it worth the stress, the extra money, And for me, at a certain point in my life, it was. Anymore, I don't got time for that kind of stress, nor the money. Do you wish you could spend more or less. I feel like in most of us, there is kind of, well, like I said, most of us, there is that little, oh, I wish I could have, as much money to blow on whatever I wanted. I'd love to be able to go to Sephora or Ulta and just, be like Jaclyn Hill and, throw 4,000 down at one time. That kind of dream fantasy, I think, is kind of lingering in all of us to a certain degree. But there's also a part of me that's like, I wish I could spend more. Not necessarily, well, there is from a financial point of view. But I'm like, I wish I had the mental wherewithal to be able to pull back and to be able to, and I've gotten better. I have gotten better. But to be able to say, I really don't need that totally random lipstick that's probably going to get lost in the ones I already own. I don't need that new highlighter because I have 200 that I don't rotate through enough. I already have those eyeshadow colors. I've got skincare I need to use now, but within the community and within, just marketing on a whole, there is so much push, shove, new. We're pushed a lot into it, by influencers, talking about products, discount codes, sales. I mean, I could do a whole nother video about marketing techniques I hate. I've got a video where it's like, is marketing and consumerism psychological warfare? It's just this push. There's never really any, okay, step back, don't buy any. It's always like, buy it all. How often do you buy makeup? For me, kind of like how much do you spend on makeup in a month? This is dependent, but I would have to say, I purchase something makeup related at least once a month. Whether it's, I count makeup remover wipes and toner, and things like that. But I do purchase something, makeup related or a makeup product at least once a month. Do you feel compelled to buy something when you see it in someone else's collection? I love watching collection videos, declutter videos, and those are honestly, I love watching them. But those are some of the worst for me because that is how I'm able to get that sneak peek into someone else's collection, and I can't tell you how many times I have seen, these are the two biggest culprits, a blush or a highlighter in someone's collection, and I'm like, well, I need to go out and get me some of that. That has probably happened at least 20 times where I have seen something in someone else's collection and they swatch it or they talk about it, and I'm like, well, my life is not going to be complete without that item. Do you buy more during the holidays? This is another yes and no. I mean, it is a little bit subjective because, my purchasing decisions are kind of like, well, are things being released that I want to buy? But honestly, I probably do buy a bit more during the holidays because you're having sales, you're having new releases, there are things that I want to review, shiny, new, pretty, all kinds of things happening, and the holidays is one of the most consumer-based times in the year. Where it really is, buy for other people, buy a little something for yourself, and there really is such this push, not even a push, this shove. You've got Black Friday, you've got Boxing Day, you've got pre-Christmas sales, you've got after Christmas sales, basically, August/September, it's holiday. So it's almost impossible to not get caught up in the whirlwind of, oh, look at all the new things, or look at all the things that other people are buying and hauling and reviewing. And if it's something that's super hyped, I'm like, I gotta review it, I gotta get that, whatever. I'm getting better, but I honestly probably do purchase more during the holiday era season than, the other times during the year. Have you ever hidden a makeup purchase from family or a friend? Yep, I have. This is where it kind of gets a little bit real, and I kind of want this to be a very real, a raw tag where it's not just like, because the makeup, the consumerism within the beauty community and sort of the whole play on I have a makeup addiction. It's like making light of a lot of symptoms that are addiction. And so yes, to put it plainly, I have hidden makeup purchases from family/friends. Do you have more than 10 products in your collection that you have not used in over a month? Sadly, yes. I can think of foundation, eyeshadow, blush, I mean, insert a type of makeup, and I can tell you that I haven't used it in a month. Some things like eyeshadow palettes, I probably haven't used in 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 months. And that's due in part to my own neglect of not rotating my makeup enough, and that's due in part to the fact that I buy and own too much makeup. Have you ever been pressured to purchase something you could not afford or did not need? This is when we're talking about, you know, once again, it's that high sale, high buy, just kind of pressure. This product is going to change your life. You can't live without it. Now, luckily, I've never really been pressured by a Sephora or an Ulta salesperson. Most of the time, they kind of just stay to themselves. And then I'm like, hey, I need a suggestion, you know, and then there's not so much pressuring as it is, look at this. But I feel like there is a lot of pressure from the YouTube beauty community. Like, I feel like I don't want to be the person, like, yes, I'm going to tell y'all, you know, the things that I like and what I recommend, but I don't ever want to be the reason someone is going out and buying something they don't need or they can't afford. And I understand I'm not responsible. Y'all can do whatever you want to do. But we get so much pressure from people in YouTube who are like, this is amazing. You're going to die without it. It's fan-fucking-fastic. Every new eyeshadow palette, every new blush, every new lipstick, every new highlighter, everything that gets released is the next big thing. And we're just totally pressured in that need to constantly invest in our inventory. Do you purchase makeup for collector reasons? Kind of. I used to be really bad about it. Like a really good example is the Too Faced white chocolate bar palette. The color story was hideous. I mean, it was ugly. That's probably the ugliest palette I have ever seen. Actually, like, they looked at that and said, yes, sell it. And I purchased it because it was a chocolate bar palette, because it was limited edition, because my collection wouldn't be complete unless I had all the chocolate bar palettes. And now it sits not even in my collection anymore, in like a box of makeup I have but don't use because it's crap, but collector reasons, not getting used. I mean, that is like the biggest waste of $49 freaking dollars. And I know there are some collectors who literally buy like the Chanel and the super high-end makeup, and they literally have like non-touchables. They're like, this is a makeup compact I bought, and I don't touch it, which I understand. We all collect different things, and we all, you know, I am not here to judge of the way other people spend money. But for me, I really am trying to get out of that collector mindset that like, oh, well, I just bought it for the packaging, or, oh, I just bought it because it's part of the collection. And then last but not least, in your makeup journey, have you become less or more consumeristic? I think for me, it's a mixture of both. It's kind of twofold. I've become less consumeristic in the sense of I'm not willy-nilly just buying everything, but I've become more consumeristic in the sense of like, I'm buying a lot because now that I've sort of curated what I know about myself, I'm buying more because I'm like, well, now I know what I like. Now I can buy more of this product because I know it's going to be something that I like. I would like to be sort of finding that happy medium where I'm buying enough, you know, for my fulfillment and my enjoyment and for my channel, but I'm also being more responsible, not buying just to have. I mean, and there is, you know, that bit of, well, you know, we purchase because it brings us joy and it's something that we like to have. And that's, you know, that's fine. That is part of the downfall of the consumeristic era we live in, where we are pushed, or we have come to truly treasure the act of buying things for ourselves, no matter what it is. But hopefully one of these days I will be able to find a happy medium, and when I do, I will be sure to share it with y'all. But that is that. I really hope you enjoyed this. I put a lot of thought and effort into this tag and the kind of questions I wanted to include in this. If you would like to answer some of the questions down below, let me know your thought on, you know, consumerism in the beauty community, or just, you know, in our life in this country on a whole. I think it's something that should be discussed a lot more, and it's kind of just played off as a makeup addiction. And we need to delve deeper into how things really are. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!